Oh, so they just be giving anybody anti-magic now, huh? What's up, guys? Welcome to here, and here we are to do a live breakdown and review of chapter 367 of Black Clover, which is known as Black Bond. And this chapter, not much actually happens in this chapter. Like, I guess, here's the thing. Technically, a lot happens. Something very major happens in this chapter. But, like, not much really happens. Like, being completely honest with you. But what does happen is really, really good. And it has a bunch of stuff that I like. And let's not waste any more time and hop right into it. Editing me. Ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, fun fact, I have it on me. And I keep it on me at all times. And I must say, I'm sorry. I did my best. I fought the good fight. I tried to make what was wrong right. I recorded for 8 hours and 31 minutes. 8 hours and 31 minutes to try and catch up to Black Clover. Because I missed a whole bunch. Like, I just missed a straight up whole bunch. And the file got corrupted. Like, both files. Like, to break the meta a little bit, the reason you can see what you see on screen right now is because I use my phone to record me, and I use the mystical, magical, official manga capturing device to record the manga. And both files corrupted. I think it's because it was literally like 8.5 hours. Like, that, I don't know what I really expected. I thought I had enough space. Like, I made sure I cleared out my computer and I cleared out my phone of all like data before trying to record. So I was like, okay, I should have enough space. I know my phone can hold up to like 20 hours of content on it in terms of like just raw footage. And I know my computer can hold even more than that because it has extra space on it. But I guess it was too much because it got corrupted. So unfortunately, chapters, I forget what it was. I was like 15 chapters behind, I'm pretty sure. I forget how much I'm off by. But I was off by a decent chunk. I ain't going back and recording all that. I'm sorry. So we're just going to continue from chapter 367 onwards. Like, nothing happened. And for clarity, I have no complaints about the previous couple chapters. In fact, I like everything I read. I especially like Yuno getting jumped. No offense to Yuno. I just really like Yuno getting jumped. So I just want to provide some clarity with y'all. If you're wondering, like, wait, how did we jump from this all the way to here? And just based on how that went, regular Ragnarok is also getting that treatment. I'm just going to leap to the current chapter because I'm caught up on that. Admittedly, that is some cheating on my part. But let's not waste more time. Let's hop right into it. Y'all don't want to hear about boring pencil technical stuff. Let's get into the chapter itself. So open up. We do get to see that Don Mancho is Dan Duncio as the paladin aura fades from his body. And we see that Don Mancho actually thinks back to this wild group of rascallions that is the Black Bulls, and how he nearly prosecuted them. Like, remember, well, not necessarily way back when, it was right before the start of the Spade arc, I do believe. We were setting up the fact that, you know, Nero was kind of a criminal. So was Asta. And all the Black Bulls are already outlaws. So Don Mancho, someone who believed in the lay and the law of the land, he was like, it'd be like that and be like that sometimes, oh boy, hold on, let me cast some judgment on you. And he was about to cast some judgment on him. But of course, you know, the Black Bulls showed up, they created a whole mess, and they all became outlaws in order to clear Nero and Asta's names. That's nice. And we see that Don Mancho, a guy who allowed it. He was like, fine, I'll let it slide. He figured that'd be it. Like, fine, they won't be dealt with me today, but I'll probably end up dealing with them one day. But no. He, after all this time, as he says himself, whoever would have thought I'd be saved by the Black Bulls? That's nice. That's nice. You know, we like that. We definitely like that. We appreciate that. Shout outs to Don Mancho for realizing that, hey, you know, I never thought it would happen, but it did happen. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I like that. It's a nice way to show how much of a positive influence, or just an influence in general, that Asta and the Black Bulls have had on the world. People who were once vehemently against them can now, with the slightest bit, I think that's the slightest bit of a smile on their face, acknowledge that, yeah, I was saved. Without them, I'd be gone. I'd be lost in the sauce. And I think that's fantastic. I do think that a lot of mangas struggle with long-term characters. I think a lot of manga struggle with keeping every single character that they ever mentioned or created that doesn't keeping them relevant, or at least giving them moments that remind you of their characters and their history, and especially their history with their main cast, such as the Black Bulls and Asta in this case. But Black Clover is one of the few manga I've seen where like everything sort of loops back. This chapter is very much everything looping back from very early on into the series, like super early on into the series. So I really, really like that. Tabata does a fantastic job of retroactively bringing these characters from the past to the present and showing how simply living in this world that has changed so much from chapter 1 has changed them in of themselves. Chef's kiss. Nice work, Tabata. And we do get to see that, of course, bro is slashed and dashed, and he is done, son. But with that being the case, you know Asta. He is definitely not going to simply execute Mancho, especially considering the fact that he wasn't even fully in control of himself after the Sister Lily situation. He knows for a fact these paladins, while they are obeying Daddy Lucius, that does not mean that they actually wish to serve Daddy Lucius. And thusly, he says this. Just nap for a while, all right? I swear, I'll wake you up too. So, this is nice. This has a couple layers to it. Number one, Don Mancho once again was an op. Like straight up was an op. Unlike Sister Lily, who was never an op, but got turned into one of the mightiest ops. Don Mancho was an op from day one. Like legitimately, he was trying to get Nero and Asta up out of here in one way or another. But Asta, a character who is so pure, so deep, so true, so honest, so good-natured. And he's just the best of boys. And I'm literally saying this all unironically. I know it sounds like I'm joking around, but legitimately, a guy as kind and as calm and as welcoming as him, he's like, dude, don't worry about it. Just nap for a while. I swear I'll wake you up too. There's no grudges held. There's no hatred in his heart. He just knows that Don Mancho's a victim. Like all the paladins are victims. Like every single opponent except for Lucius himself. And technically even Lucius himself is a victim. Because, Lucius equals Julius and Julius equals Lucius. And thusly Julius is a Lucius victim. So technically Lucius is even a victim of himself. There are very few here, if any. I think there's that one dude who willingly serves Lucius. But like everyone else has simply been turned against their own people. And Asta, despite what these people have done to him in the past, he just swears to wake him up. He's going to get him back. He's going to let him get his get back eventually. But right now he's got to go. So right now, he's got to take a nap. I like how Asta says, I'll wake you up too, not just I'll wake you up. In reference to the fact that Sister Lily still... I don't know why I said Don Mancho. Was like... And Sister Lily just laid up, just like... But that's all it be. And that's the reference. He's still, while he does want to save everybody, they all are additions. Even if I think he's gotten over, well, yeah, he has. He literally says it in the chapter 331, I do believe. He literally says, like, yeah, I get it, Sister Lily, you was never like that. You are a sister. I suppose I should have known better than that. He still does care a lot for that. And he's going to wake her up and him up. He's going to wake them both up. This is a weirdly drawn ear. This actually kind of makes me uncomfortable. I'm not going to look at that anymore. That's a weirdly drawn ear. But sorry, I did it caught my eye and my brain was trying to logic it out. I'm not even going to look back at that. That's going to cause me nightmares. That's like, what is it? Ironically, I don't think I actually have a fear of this because beehives don't actually bother me all too much. It's just, it looks weird on human skin though. It looks weird on human skin, I'll admit. I don't think I have. I think it's called trypophobia, the fear of tiny holes laid out together. Hold on. Is it? I got the Googler on me. Is it trypophobia? Please, Googler, work with me. All right. I remember a trypophobia bar from, I think it was was it a Phantom Troop cipher? I think I knew it from before that because of, I think I literally just knew it. Like, I think before I even, because there are two things I remember a trypophobia bar being used in. It was used by 6 Seconds in one of his older songs, and it was used in the Phantom Troop bar. And then I think I knew it from even before. Yeah. Trypophobia refers to the disgust or fear of patterned holes. Seeing clusters of holes in foods, flowers, and everyday items like sponges can trigger feelings of revulsion. Trypophobia gaining recognition as an anxiety problem that can affect quality of life. So yeah, trypophobia doesn't actually bother me all too much. Like, there's a series I don't think I'd literally be able to read if I had trypophobia, but it only bothers me on people. Like, when I've seen those edits of people that have like all those holes over them, and that makes my skin crawl. So maybe I have trypophobia in regards to that. But that's what this kind of reminded me of. Like, I don't know, something about that just doesn't look right. But that just so give me shit. But like, look at this. This technically should cause trypophobia if I had it, but this doesn't bother me. I have no idea what's up with Asta's ear. Let's see. Hey, you guys. Ichigo's just like, well, you can show a little emotion. They're all on the ground. Help them up, or like help a little bit. Like, sweet mother mercy. She just posted that. I get it. These aren't her friends or anything like that, but Ichigo, show a little bit more empathy or something. She's just standing there menacingly. Like, you know. I don't know why this is so funny to me. It's just like, you look at all these people laid out on the ground, Wizard Queen included, and it's just Ichigo like, get up. What are you doing on the ground? Keep it pushing. Fight the good fight. I don't know why it tickles me, but we see that it is time. It is time. She feels like this is her true role to fill. And the Witch Queen slowly rises up. And suddenly, boom! Everybody is lost in this house. And by the songs, I think what is it? She has, I forget what her magic is called. It's the red juice magic. I'm still not, like, I know I slip up and say things sometimes I don't mean to say. I'm not sure if the red life juice is something that I can actually say or not. I'm just very scared of YouTube, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. But with that being the case, she opens up her big old book and starts doing a mass heal of everybody here, which is nice. This is definitely just straight up a callback to her healing Asta's arms, except this is more than just arms. But with that being the case, as she heals everybody, Asta's like, Witch Queen? What are you doing? Last time you did this, you nearly took me over. Witch Queen, please, not right now. We already have to deal with Daddy Lucius. So please don't do this to me and my friends. Don't make me fight you again. But we see that the Witch Queen is, in fact, not trying to slurp them all up and make them into her loyal servants. In fact, she is healing them. And I think that's nice. Because admittedly, this is something that's a little bit like, you scratch your back, I'll scratch mine. Obviously, with the Black Bulls gone, I mean, he does need them, though. It's really like Nacht, Luck. Noelle's still fighting her mom. But, like, a majority of their abilities would still be very useful in this battle, especially with all the clones running around. So, like, yeah, it makes sense that the Wizard Queen, she's kind of just hedging her bets here. This likely isn't just purely out of the goodness of her heart, even though I think it is a little bit out of the goodness of her heart. But this is also like, well, if I don't help you guys, the world's gonna go anyway. So I might as well slide y'all an assist real quick. Here, you can hold this. At least that's how I see it. I think it's a little bit of character development and respect, and also you got to pay your tithes. Go fight, because Witch Queen won't be able to do it. And we see as everyone starts to get healed up, they get all that juicy juice, lodge it straight in their vein. It's funny how some of them are like right on top of each other, and some of them are just isolated in their own little bubbles. But we see that the Witch Queen's like, we cut it very close, but none of them have perished yet. I think they'll make it. Bird girl, your magic is what kept their lives from leaving them. And I do like that. That's a nice little detail. Her sealing magic, something that's kept her in stasis for hundreds upon hundreds of years, has come to save the people that she has come to care for. This bond that she's made with them is so strong. The magic is what kept them alive. Sekirei managed to do this, and I think that's beautiful. I do like that. You know, like look at this look of contentment. Like, Is contentment a word? Or is it just a look of content? Regardless, she's so happy. She's so happy that the people who have given her a new home, that have given her a new purpose, that have brought meaning back into her life, are all alive and well. She's so thankful for that. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's gorgeous. I love the fact that she feels that way. And this is, once again, just slight little shifts, slight little things. Take us back to when Sekre was first dropped. Like, not Nero, because Nero was, like, I think a chapter 1 character. But, like, specifically Sekre. Yeah, she liked the Black Bulls. They were cool and all, but they weren't like the gang. Like, they weren't squad yet. They really weren't. But now, simply the thought that they could be allied and that Sekre was the main point, the point of connection that held them to that fragile piece of life. Oh, I love that. I love that. And I love how Nero Sekre reacts. And we see that with this is obviously one of the most massive heals I think she's ever done. If I'm trying to remember back to the Witch Queen arc. I think the biggest Giga heal she ever did was healing Asta's arms. So that's like one body part. She literally probably has to like reconstruct some of these people down deep in terms of where they need to be reconstructed from. But I'm so sorry, my chair is super duper loud. But with that being the case, we see that this is taking a whole chunk of the Magic Queen. It's like, okay, chair, I'm gonna get rid of you. Don't make me get rid of you. Stop being loud. Being rude. I'm recording right now. Stop it. You will stop? Good. So, the Witch Queen is like, you know, I'm getting up there in age. A few 100 years old. She is hundreds of years old. Hold on, let me double check. That's the issue with the consuming Black Clover at the pace that I did consume it at. A lot of small details leave me. Witch Queen Black Clover. What's her age? Pretty sure she's like a couple centuries old. I will never know. She's 100 plus, so she's been around. So let's just assume 100 plus. Vanessa, I've been around for my fair share of decades, and I'll be completely real with you, baby girl. This is going to consume almost all of my power. Which, yeah, makes sense. Like, that is a massive giga heal. And plus, she was kind of going through it herself already. And thusly, using a bunch of her magic to heal all of them up, it makes sense that this would have, a drastic effect on her reserves and her ability to continue being queen. Because notably, in a sense of, at least within the Black Clover world, it's not in your ability or your station, unless you're just the regular king. The regular king's an exception with his light magic. But if you're a wizard king or really royalty of any true value, you are powerful. And thusly, if the Magic Queen or the Witch Queen loses a whole bunch of her power through doing this, she legit wouldn't be able to maintain her position. So, could be a whole rebellion up against her. So thusly, transferring the title now, when she's already sacking a whole bunch of her magic juice, makes sense. It is unironically the most logical thing to do in a scenario like this, when you really have no other option. And with that being the case, she elects Vanessa to be the next queen, which I think it's very, very nice. It is very, very nice. Because remember, Vanessa is essentially the queen. She was essentially the queen's heir apparent. Like, that was the whole thing back in the Witch Queen arc. Like, Vanessa escaped that world because she was literally just built to be the next queen. Like, the whole String of Fate thing was the reason the Witch Queen was so focused on Vanessa in the first place. And this, obviously, with Vanessa's great potential as a mage and her amazing magical ability that literally foresees and predicts and protects from bad events in the future, then obviously she'd be a perfect queen for the realm. So I definitely get why the Witch Queen is passing it to her specifically. She's from the realm. She has the power to defend it. And overall, it's kind of been destined. But of course, not everything can be as smooth and buttery, because as Vanessa goes to have a little bit of shock, and I do admit, this is a good way to avoid the issue, because, right, the Witch Queen, I forget, are men, explicitly forbidden from going into the Witch's Forest? Because I know Yami was the first man that Vanessa ever met. I'm not sure if that's like just a Vanessa thing since she was the heir apparent or not. But regardless, even the whole man thing aside, her becoming queen of the witches would require her to leave the Black Bulls. So that's a little conflict that's introduced there, but Tabata doesn't even really let that linger at all. I think this could have used a little bit of a breather. This could have definitely had a little bit more time dedicated to it, seeing Vanessa maybe rebuttal a little bit or try to fight against it. But unfortunately, well, no, I can't say unfortunately, it's still fine. But we see that Dorothy says, we aren't even going to talk about that kind of plot point. Hang on, I'll be that. Which is true. We know she is from the forest. We know the Witch Queen does respect her. And obviously, Dorothy is a very powerful mage. I'd say to the point where she is definitely more powerful than a majority of the Black Bulls. Like, straight up, she is just drastically more powerful than a lot of them. Like, the only ones of the Black Bulls that I say maybe stronger than Dorothy at this point are, like, Asta, Yami, maybe Nacht, and maybe Noelle. And it's because here's the thing, right? Dorothy reminds me of a lot of very specifically weirdly hacksy characters in series, like Pilther from Seven Deadly Sins. I mean, not Ino Yamanaka from Naruto. I feel like Ino's hacks are so, they're kind of iffy for who's a character example from Naruto. Characters who have stupid broken hacks, and if they were to be used optimally, the story literally couldn't be written. That's what Dorothy kind of reminds me of. It feels like for her ability to control a whole realm of dreams where she can manifest anything that she desires, like, and she can just BFR people to it, it feels like she should be way more powerful than the story lets her on, but she's not a main character. She's not a Black Bull. So it makes sense to sort of have her slide into the role of Wizard Queen, because then everyone wins. The Wizard Queen still gets to retire. Dorothy gets what she wanted, which is unfortunate because she's gonna abandon her own crew, I guess. But I guess she slept most of the time anyway. And two, who knows? Maybe there's another success. I don't remember anyone being set to succeed Dorothy. We don't really get much of the other groups, but even still, her becoming Magic Queen leaves, the main thing is that her becoming Magic Queen leaves Vanessa to be a part of the Black Bulls, which is the major thing that is most pressing in this scenario of Vanessa supposedly becoming the next Wizard Queen. So that's nice. I'm glad that Dorothy comes in, takes the weight off of Vanessa's shoulders at all, because you can definitely see that she doesn't like immediately say no. She's probably just shocked that she's still being offered that, but it means that likely she may have had to consider, but Dorothy just takes that weight off her shoulder, which is nice. It is a little bit greedy because, like, Dorothy's like, oh yeah, being a captain's one thing, but I'll be queen. Like, she literally doesn't even give a choice. Like, you literally see that she says, hang on, I'll be that. Like, she doesn't even say, excuse me, could I instead be that? No, she's like, oh no, I'm going to do it. Because I can mollywop the both of you, which is true. She should be able to body bag both of them. But it's crazy how she just comes out and says, yeah, all that heir apparent, you being the next in line, the monarchy, the previous queen literally choosing you, none of that matters. I'll be queen. Like, kind of Loki reminds me of a Scar from Lion King moment, like, I'll be king. And instead of king, it's queen. But with that being the case, we see that the main reason she does it is because she already had a free living life, apparently. She's like, I already did a bunch of fun stuff in my teens and 20s. And I forget, is she 30? Is she in her 30s? Blessed be having the Googler on me, bro. Is she in her 30s? I generally forget. Dorothy. Dorothy. Black Clover. Dorothy Unsworth. How old is she? Oh, she's 27. So she's not even 30 yet. What she mean? You did a billion of fun stuff in your teens and 20s. I did. Watch yourself. But her becoming queen, that's nice. It's a nice way to cap off that character. Though admittedly, once again, this does kind of, like, if I did have to have one critique about this chapter, this does kind of feel like a get out of jail free card for Vanessa, where everyone can have their cake and eat it too. Because I don't think, like, do we even get motivation for why Dorothy became a captain other than the fact that she was powerful? Like, I get it. Going from captain to queen is a leadership position to a leadership position, but it feels kind of like Tabata he just didn't want to. Like, I don't know. Nothing Dorothy has implied before has really set her up to be like the leader figure. Mira Leona's had more setup for that. Fugelion has had more setup for that. Heck, even Jack has had more setup for that. But Jack is the Jack pack. It's immaculate. But that's the only thing that feels a little bit weird, a little bit off, in Asta's ear. But with that being the case, we do get to see, while she does say, "Oh, well, yes, of course, I'll do just fine, won't I, your former majesty?" Like, she hasn't even conceded the throne yet officially. Like, Dorothy, chill out, Dorothy. Like, you can wait. No need to be itching for it like that. You low-key fiending right now. You low-key fiending. But with it being the case, she brings up the fact that, well, the enemy's still way ahead when it comes to firepower, though. We'll have to work real hard to avoid ending up at the double D all over again. So, that is true. That is the catch-22 that they're in. Sure, they all manage to get healed, but unless Asta's right there babysitting them, what good are they going to do? How are they going to be able to do anything? They'll just get mollywopped again. If they could all get soloed by one paladin, what happens if 2 show up? 3? 4? Heaven forbid 5. Like, legitimately, they're kind of still in a losing situation. But we see that while Dorothy is a little bit concerned about the situation at hand, the Witch Queen is like, okay, all right, you bring up a good point, but let me guess. As long as the Black Bulls revive, you have some sort of plan, don't you, anti-magic boy? So once again, this is where I believe it's half out of the goodness of her heart, half out of the preservation of herself and her own people, but she has faith that Asta came all this way with a plan. Especially after seeing Asta in her own arc, seeing that she has enough faith in Asta that she's like, yes, I can take this gamble. I can sacrifice a majority of my magic power to restore these individuals myself, because I believe in the anti-magic boy. That's nice. Once again, further proof of how Asta, and once again, the Black Bulls in general, but mainly Asta, I'd say Asta because he's the main character, has had influences on these people, that they are willing to have faith in them after Asta disappeared for a decent chunk of time. So, like, this is wonderful. I really do like that. And we see that Asta's even like, wow, golly willikers, you're smarter than you look, Witch Queen. Yes'm, thank you. And we see that Asta I can't take him seriously, bro. I can't take that little gremlin. Oh, I can't take him seriously. Look at him. Why is he built like that? Why? Tabata, what? I swear I can't be. I may just be losing my mind on this one, but I swear he keeps getting smaller. Like, I must either be insane or it's true. Like, bro has to be getting smaller. Like, look at how tiny he doesn't even fit in Asta's bicep. And I get, Asta has massive biceps, but like, still, bro is so small. Asta could just, he wouldn't be able to do anything. He's so tiny. And like, maybe this is just, no. It's like reverse compensation. Remember how he was super duper big at the start of this series and how he used to tower over Asta? Now he's just like he's like the size of a chipmunk, just chilling. Sorry. Tiny Lee, he's just so funny. Yeah. He sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks too, right? Like, at that size, his lungs are nowhere near this appropriate size to anything other than sound like an Alvin and the Chipmunks cover. Yeah! Let's do this, Asta! But we do get to see, we're cutting back in time, back to reality. Well, away from reality. And we see that Ryu actually brings up an idea. Let me put on my southern drawl accent now. Give me a moment. I need to acclimate into this ability of mine. All right, it's time. But will you look at here? See here, this is just a theory. But big booty butt cheeks part of the deal with anti-magic is the fact that it can make other stuff anti-magic too, ain't it? Asta's already seen that one in action already. And that is a good reference, because we know that I think it turns into Demon Slasher. I forget what does Yami's Katana have a name? I ain't Googling the name, but if it does have a name, we see that Asta was able to infuse anti-magic into Yami's Katana. And we see that Ryu starts to spit on his theory. Look at how tiny he is. He's so small. He's so small, my son. But Ryu says, hold on, allow me to reactivate my southern drawl. I can't just hop into it. I gotta get that nice drawl. You can give stuff anti-magic by letting your properties flow into it. If you can give anti-magic to objects, don't you think you can give it to people too? Like a reverse demon dweller. And I'll admit, that is a pretty I have no idea why I'm so tired. But that is a pretty interesting idea. But I think the reason it would work so well, like, I get, part of me gets why some people are complaining about this because of how anti-magic is occasionally portrayed. But I do get it. Like, the usage of Demon Dweller as a reference here is very, very important. Because, essentially, if I had to take a guess, this is sort of a, a gamble. Because while it makes sense that the weapons can be infused with anti-magic, it's because they aren't sentient. They aren't living beings. The weapons aren't usually imbued with magic. But with something like people, like, they're infused with magic. So, like, I sort of get the critique that people are having with this chapter, where it's like, it makes no sense that the Black Bulls are able to be infused with anti-magic when they're literally magical beings. The only reason Asta is able to wield the grimoire or any of the anti-magic abilities is specifically because he has no magic. So how are people with magic going to be able to be infused with it? Yeah, I see the complaint. I really do. I hear it. I processed it. And I don't care, because it does lead to something really, really cool. So we do get to see that Ryu points out, all that Z10 training made you a little better at working with anti-magic too. I bet the odds are you're even better at it now. Catching Asta off guard, which I guess I would, because he's been training Z10, not specifically anti-magic. But as we see, anti-magic is uncharted territory. But nah, because it's uncharted, it's worth a shot, ain't it? That is true. Since there's so little, like, concrete information about anti-magic out there, the more people, the more things you can infuse with anti-magic, the better. Who knows? Anti-magic may be able to one-shot, if not paladins. It may be able to one-shot things like whoa. I was about to make a Fire Emblem Engage reference. Where's my mind at right now? But essentially, the more people that are infused with anti-magic, the more variety can be used on the paladins, or even the random angels flying around. There's a lot more variety that can be used, and it's going to make them a lot more effective, especially if they can figure out how to manipulate the anti-magic even closer to a degree that Asta does. And with that being the case, we see that Asta, using Demon Dweller, nice, as a conduit, begins to spread the anti-magic out. Oh, my son, he looks so adorable. He looks so adorable. But he's holding on and supplying all the anti-magic. And we get to see not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, but 12. 12, I think I'm mathing right. Yep, 12 different spots of darkness. And they all rise. Amazing. Compatibility is going to matter. Amazing. Compatibility is going to matter in the 50, and so's the time you spent together, but I can share my power with the rest of them. Well, check you out, Asta. Look at gang, bro. Oh. Oh. Woo. 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 If you didn't know, we stand Magna in this house. We all stand Magna in this house. If you don't stand Magna, I got a Keyblade for you. All right? Now, if you want to keep that body of yours and I want to become one of my vessels, You stand Magna too. All right? All right, we good? We good. All right, we good. And I gotta admit, bro looks pretty juicy with the anti-magic flow. I think he probably ends up getting my favorite outfit from the anti-magic. Yeah, I'd say so. He pretty solid is my favorite outfit. Mainly because it's his base outfit flows so well into anti-magic already while it's in tatters. Like, look at how the anti-magic fuels off of his hair, like this sparking dark horn. You see the anti-magic beginning to ruffle off of his clothes too, giving that tattered look and more anti-magic fuel to it. And it coats around his hands. Just a really cool fit. Even his necklace becomes purely coated with anti-magic, which is really, really cool. Once again, we're probably referencing the whole chain match that he had with Dante. Very, very nice. Zora comes in a close second to me. Showed off the best first. I love the way his mask becomes infused with anti-magic, and even his eyeliner begins to flow with anti-magic. Admittedly, the cape and the bracelets staying the same. It's kind of underwhelming. But then we have, I'll admit, Ghost does look kind of fire here. He does look, wait. That is Ghost, right? Gosh? I'm not sure how to say his name. Black Clover, help me! Black Clover Wiki, save me! Okay, Black Clover Wiki, I can't find the search button on it. Ghost. Black Clover, please! Yeah, okay, it is Ghost. Alright, so Ghost, she does look kind of metal. I do wish she got more anti-magic infused into him. I don't think this is part of him. The only anti-magic thing he got was the piece of the glass eye he has, which is nice. I mean, it still is cool. It leads to like a Amaterasu effect. I know a lot of people are calling this copy Clover or whatever. I don't care. I think it looks neat. And even then, I don't even think it's much of a copy thing, because I know a lot of people were comparing this to Naruto sharing the Nine Tails' power, which is not all too inaccurate. But I think what's going to make this interesting is that unlike the Nine Tails power, which kind of just gave you like a general stat buff and a lot more chakra to spend, and like a pseudo shield, anti-magic is not going to give you a stat buff. Well, it may give you a stat buff a little bit, but the main thing is that you get anti-magic properties that you can now infuse into your own attacks. That's what I think is the most interesting thing that's going to come out of it, and hopefully probably going to make me like it more than Naruto sharing all his chakra with everybody. But with that being the case, we see, I mean, once again, I do feel a tiny bit underwhelmed by Luck's fit. I was hoping he would have more like anti-magic flow, but the black lightning, the anti-magic lightning does look really, really cool. I'm excited to see him fight. Gray, obviously, she got that gash in her gut, so it's nice seeing that be healed up by anti-magic. Though I guess this is her only anti-magic thing, actually. Kind of disappointing. I was hoping she'd get a little bit more, maybe in the cape, something. And then Charmy just looks like a nightmare. Charmy, I'm going to see that Charmy in my dreams, which will then turn into nightmares. Whoo, this woman's terrifying. But with that being the case, we see that the ultimate black bulls have awakened. I do like Henry's design a lot now that his hair has gone from like the fluffy white to absolute darkness. I like that. Nero, once again, a very simple design, but her design was already mostly black, so there's not much you can really do with anti-magic to add onto it. That's why she probably just gets these. And Nacht, literally, I don't know. I cannot tell if bro has changed at all. But then again, once again, his magic was already black. And I do like the look on Finral here. I do like the black gloves, the dark coalescing of anti-magic in the black hair. That's neat. I wish everyone got at least a little bit of that. Like maybe at least a hair color change for everyone, or at least a tint of hair would have gone a long way. Because it looks really good on Finral and looks really good on Henry. But everyone else sort of kind of gets like minor clothing adjustments and like a cool spike. I don't know. That's the only pseudo underwhelming thing. And then we see Gordon and Vanessa. I know the Vanessa fans are going bonkers right now, but the chapter ends with Asta saying, "Let's get out there and save the world." So, overall, I just happen to wonder what this chapter may be, considering my only complaint about the chapter was something minor. Hey y'all! You see, I am Lord Frieza, and I declare this chapter as worthy. Now you may be wondering, why is the chapter worthy? It's just a nice chapter. I like the callbacks to certain characters. I like the utilization of the Witch Queen and her abilities. I like Dorothy taking on the title, allowing Vanessa to stay part of the Black Bulls. And I like the anti-magic infusion. That's about it. Like, I don't know, the chapter is just really, really solid. Not much happens in it, like I said, but it still has enough to poke around in the brain and get me super duper excited for chapter 368. So overall, I think this is a W chapter. English. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dag on the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a very big thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays and Red Wolf 4765. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $5 patrons, Alex Ice Rose, Art Goon, DemXLND, Midnight Gemlord, Red Wolf 4765, and Sean. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $10 patrons, iDemokami, Joaquin, and Robbie Uchiha. I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose.